Everyone at Blackwood High knew the story about the basement tunnel. Teachers denied it existed. Students whispered about it constantly. According to the rumors, there was an old underground tunnel beneath the school that had been sealed decades ago after a student disappeared inside. Most people treated it like a joke, a creepy urban legend told to scare freshmen. But Ethan Parker became obsessed with it. Ethan was 17 years old, quiet, curious, and the type of person who loved mysteries more than anything else. While other students cared about parties and sports, Ethan spent his free time reading about disappearances, abandoned places, and unsolved cases online. And the story of the tunnel beneath Blackwood High fascinated him more than anything, especially because nobody seemed willing to talk about it seriously. Every time Ethan asked teachers about the basement tunnel, they immediately changed the subject. Even the school principal became uncomfortable whenever the topic came up. That alone made Ethan suspicious, because adults only hide things when they're afraid. One rainy afternoon after school, Ethan stayed late in the library, researching old newspaper archives on one of the ancient computers. At first, he found nothing useful. Then finally, an article from 1987 appeared on the screen. The headline read, "Blackwood Student Still Missing After School Incident." Ethan leaned closer immediately. According to the article, a 16-year-old student named Daniel Reeves vanished during a school power outage nearly 40 years ago. No body was ever found. No suspect was identified. And strangely, the article mentioned something very unusual. Several students reported hearing screams coming from beneath the school moments before Daniel disappeared. Ethan's heartbeat quickened. Beneath the school, the tunnel. Suddenly, everything felt more real. Then Ethan noticed something else. The final paragraph of the article had been blacked out completely. Not faded, not damaged, intentionally covered. Someone had hidden part of the story. Ethan printed the article quickly before the librarian announced closing time. Outside, heavy rain crashed against the empty parking lot, while thunder echoed across the sky. Most students had already gone home. Blackwood High looked completely different at night. Darker, older, almost dead. As Ethan walked toward the exit, he noticed something strange near the end of the science hallway. A basement door, slightly open. Ethan stopped walking immediately. He had passed that hallway hundreds of times before. The basement door was always locked, always. But tonight, it stood open just enough to reveal darkness below. Ethan stared at it silently. His mind screamed to leave, but curiosity pulled him forward. Slowly, Ethan approached the door. Cold air drifted upward from the darkness beneath the school. It smelled damp, rotten, old. He looked around nervously. The hallway was completely empty. No teachers, no janitors, nothing. Finally, Ethan pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam illuminated old concrete stairs descending underground. Far below, darkness swallowed everything else. Ethan swallowed nervously. Then he heard it, a noise from beneath the school, very faint, very distant. Someone whispering. Ethan froze completely. The whisper echoed softly through the tunnel below, too distorted to understand clearly, but it sounded human. His breathing became heavier. Every instinct told him to run away immediately, but another part of him needed to know what was down there. So slowly, Ethan stepped into the darkness. Each step deeper underground made Ethan more uncomfortable. The stairs creaked softly beneath his shoes, while darkness surrounded him completely. The air felt colder now, thicker somehow. like the tunnel itself had been sealed away from the rest of the world for decades. At the bottom of the stairs, Ethan discovered a long concrete hallway stretching into darkness. Old pipes covered the ceiling. Rust stained the walls. Water dripped slowly somewhere far ahead. The place looked ancient, forgotten. Ethan moved carefully, shining his flashlight around nervously. Then he noticed something disturbing. Scratch marks. Long, deep scratches covered sections of the walls. Not random damage. They looked desperate, like someone had tried clawing their way out. Ethan's stomach tightened. He continued walking slowly. The tunnel seemed endless, and strangely, the deeper he went, the quieter everything became. Even the storm outside disappeared completely. No thunder, no rain, only silence. Then suddenly, his flashlight flickered. Ethan froze instantly. The light dimmed for one terrifying second before returning again, and during that single second of darkness, he heard footsteps ahead. Not his own. Someone else was inside the tunnel. Ethan aimed the flashlight forward quickly. Nothing. Empty hallway. But he knew what he heard. Soft footsteps moving deeper underground. His heartbeat pounded harder. "Hello," Ethan called nervously. No answer came back. Only silence. Then, a metallic clang echoed loudly somewhere far ahead. Ethan nearly jumped. It sounded like a heavy door slamming shut underground. He should have left right then. Any normal person would have. But Ethan kept going, because now he knew something was down there with him. After several more minutes, the tunnel finally opened into a massive underground chamber. Ethan's flashlight revealed old desks stacked against the walls, broken chairs, rotting school equipment. It looked like an abandoned underground classroom hidden beneath the school itself. And in the center of the room, someone had written words across the wall in massive black letters. "Don't let him out." Ethan stared at the message in horror. Then suddenly, a loud whisper came from directly behind him. "Ethan." He spun around instantly. Nobody was there, but the voice had spoken clearly. Very clearly. Someone inside the darkness knew his name. Ethan backed away slowly from the wall. His breathing shook violently now. There was no way anyone should know his name down there. No way. Yet the whisper had sounded close, almost beside him. Then the lights above flickered suddenly. Ethan looked upward in confusion. He hadn't even noticed the old ceiling lights before. One by one, they began turning on. Dim yellow lights illuminated the underground chamber slowly, and what Ethan saw made his blood freeze. Photographs covered the walls, hundreds of them, old school photographs. Most were faded with age. Students, teachers, classrooms. But every single photograph had one thing scratched across the faces with black ink. X marks, all except one. A boy standing in the center of a school photo from 1987. Daniel Reeves, the missing student. Unlike the others, Daniel's face remained untouched, and beneath the photograph, someone had written, "Still here." Ethan felt panic rising inside him. This wasn't some prank anymore. Something horrible had happened beneath Blackwood High. Then, the lights shut off instantly. Darkness swallowed the chamber. Ethan gasped and grabbed his flashlight desperately. Before he could turn it on, he heard breathing directly in front of him. Slow, heavy, wet. Ethan's hands trembled violently as he clicked the flashlight back on. The beam revealed nothing. Empty room. But then, drip. Something warm landed on his hand. Ethan looked down slowly. Blood. Fresh blood dripped from the ceiling above him. His flashlight moved upward shakily, and Ethan screamed. A human figure crawled across the ceiling upside down, like a spider. Its arms bent unnaturally backward, its pale face twisted into a horrifying smile, and its eyes were completely black. The creature moved impossibly fast. The moment Ethan screamed, it vanished into darkness above him. Its limbs scraped violently across the ceiling, while distorted breathing echoed through the chamber. Ethan ran instantly. Pure terror controlled his body now. He sprinted through the underground hallway as fast as possible. Behind him, the creature crawled through the darkness. Fast, too fast. Its bones cracked loudly with every movement. Ethan could hear its nails scraping the concrete ceiling overhead. Closer, closer. He turned a corner sharply and nearly slipped on wet concrete. Then suddenly, he saw another door ahead. Old metal, half open. Ethan rushed toward it desperately. Inside was a small underground office, filled with dusty filing cabinets and broken monitors. Ethan slammed the door shut behind him. Immediately, something crashed against the other side. The entire door shook violently. Ethan backed away in terror. Then he noticed an old tape recorder sitting on the desk, still powered on somehow. A red light blinked slowly. Ethan pressed play. Static filled the room. Then a terrified voice began speaking. A teenage voice. Daniel Reeves. I locked it underground, but it learned my voice. If anyone finds this, don't trust the whispers. It pretends to be human. Another violent slam hit the door. The metal began bending inward. Daniel's voice continued through static. If it escapes the tunnel, everyone in the school dies. Then the tape suddenly stopped. Silence. Ethan stared at the shaking door in horror. Whatever was outside had been trapped underground for 40 years. The creature stopped attacking the door suddenly. Complete silence filled the underground office. Ethan stood frozen, listening, waiting. Then softly, a voice came from outside. Ethan, help me. It sounded exactly like Daniel Reeves. Weak, terrified, human. Ethan's hand trembled near the door handle. Maybe Daniel had survived somehow. Maybe the creature copied his voice. He didn't know anymore. Then the voice outside began crying. Please, it's coming back. Ethan stepped backward nervously. Something felt wrong, very wrong. Then the voice changed instantly. Its crying transformed into laughter, deep, distorted, inhuman. The metal door exploded inward violently. The black-eyed creature crawled inside at impossible speed. Its smile stretched unnaturally wide across its pale face. Ethan grabbed a broken chair and smashed the nearby electrical panel desperately. Sparks exploded everywhere. The underground lights burst violently one by one. The creature screamed horribly. Its body twisted unnaturally in the darkness. The entire tunnel began shaking. Concrete cracked across the walls and ceiling. Ethan ran. Behind him, the underground chamber collapsed rapidly. Dust filled the air while the creature shrieked from the darkness beneath the school. Ethan finally reached the basement stairs and burst back into the school hallway above. The moment he escaped, the basement door slammed shut by itself. Everything became silent again. Completely silent. Police searched beneath the school the next day, but they found nothing. No tunnel, no underground chamber, no creature, only solid concrete beneath Blackwood High. The school denied Ethan's story completely. Students called him crazy. Teachers avoided him. And slowly, life returned to normal. Until 3 weeks later, Ethan stayed late after class one evening. As he walked alone through the science hallway, he heard something beneath the floor. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Then softly, A whisper. Ethan. The voice was smiling.